Hey, News Jen here for Monday the 13th of December. It's National Violence Day, so murder... No, I'm sorry. It's National Violin Day. I have no idea why this day exists, so I'm guessing that it's just time to remember that one band Yellow Card? Remember them? That happened? That punkish band with a violin? Okay, like someone looked at ska and went, what if we made this but not as fun? Of course, National Violin Day is cousin to National Fiddle Day, which is just whenever the devil wants to play a tune. Because politics is depressing me lately, I think this week's news story, the top one, is the Apache Log4j zero-day security exploit. If that means nothing to you, you're not alone, I'll talk about it and tell you. I'm fascinated by this because I'm going to consider that this is going to have implications for years. If you're watching this, you probably have a computer of some sort. I'm not going to judge, but I haven't seen a computer in decades because computers are for nerds. Something slash slot do's for turds, tough that scatters. Most traffic on the internet, at least the modern popular internet, comes through something called the World Wide Web, or the information superhighway that people can surf. They surf the net. This is not to be confused with such cutting-edge technologies such as Usenet and Gopher. Now, all these computers talk to one another, or if memories of modems are correct, scream at each other, probably in German. That's not necessarily the problem, but some of those computers like to talk a lot, and we call those computers servers because we have to tip 20% in America, and in other countries it's just built into the cost of a meal, which is why people who own servers like Amazon and Google are so rich. Don't think about it, that's just how it is. Now, because this is also America, these for-profit companies built their empires on work of many thousands of software developers, giving away their labor for free. In this case, it was server software. 3 people run this particular piece of software that works on an Apache. Because a certain string will allow the server, the string of text, will allow the server to be compromised and allow arbitrary code to run. That is, in security parlance, very bad. Apache Web Server runs a significant proportion of the web servers in the entire world, and probably Mars too. I have no idea how the rovers work. So this means that unless a company patches their web servers, you can probably exploit this vulnerability. And we all know companies are always keen to keep their software patched at all times. There's no way that this will be continued to be exploited forever as companies with servers littering their networks. All you need to find is one of these servers that hasn't been patched, which could then be your wedge to get into their entire network. Which reminds me to update my internal server. Wait, no, I don't have one. I'm not a nerd. Computers are for nerds. Thing is that this piece of software, like I mentioned, is maintained by 3 people. It's pretty wild that the entire internet is just so dependent on this. In metaphor news, tornadoes ripped through the Midwest, killing dozens, if not 100 people, including 6 in an Amazon warehouse. Now, I'm not saying that the workers were not allowed to take time away from picking to shelter from the tornado, but I'm also saying that I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't. In We Saw This Coming news, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced that he would like to see legislation modeled on the Texas abortion law that come across his desk, except he wanted to focus on guns. This is a win-win because taking the rights away of 2 people is more than taking away the rights of 1. Still no word if there are actually guns in California, though. Some are skeptical. Real talk, though. That's not going to work because the Second Amendment exists, and abortion was decided based on some weird privacy provision, not enmeshed in the codified ones. Would make sense. Russia still seems poised to invade the Ukraine, just in time for Ken Burns to get started on his World War III special. In online safety news, Instagram has announced that it will allow users to be reminded after spending too long on the app. One user said, "Great, not only will I feel ugly, I'll feel bad about not managing my time better." In Mr. Would You Please Help My Pony news, the Kentucky Derby winning horse died during a routine workout. The horse had a heart attack. Some were already looking to blame the horse for the issue, stating that the animal enjoyed fried carrots far too much. A world's annual drug survey has ranked Australia the drunkest country on the planet. Australians got drunk over 27 times on average over the course of a year, which is double the global average of 15. Now, Germans were close with their glass boot drinking, but Australians really closed the gap after inventing the shoey. I've been playing too many video games lately, so I guess it's only appropriate that we end with some news on the video game front. Oregon Trail game turned 50 this year. It debuted in 1971. Several public schools are beginning the process of retiring computers that ran the original Oregon Trail. Anyway, that's the last of the jokes. While I said I would end at the Oregon Trail, I feel compelled to talk a little bit about gothic horror adjacent and erotica writer Anne Rice, who died at 80 this week. She faced some backlash after a short born-again phase that ended about 10 years ago when she left the Catholic Church again. I read a lot of her books when I was younger, and they did have some impact on me, even if I thought her writing could have used a really healthy trim. Nonetheless, I don't know what I would be doing without her books. I might be writing, but it certainly would be different. And so it just sucks. Anyway, that's the news at Gen for December 13th. I'll see you on the 20th. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. And thank you for supporting me on patreon.com/genderbent. And remember, I love you.